Now, recollections may vary. The late Queen famously said that of Harry and Meghan's sit-down interview with Oprah Winfrey. Not for the first time, those words are now being used to suggest that Prince Harry could be mistaking the truth for his truth. And not for the first time, the criticism is about a Netflix documentary. Harry's new 5-part series, Heart of Invictus, premieres today, and it tells the story of 6 competitors in the Invictus Games, the sporting contest he created for wounded servicemen and women. In an interview for the show, he says his own military service brought back the trauma of losing his mother. He takes a little swipe then at the royal family in the process.
The biggest struggle for me was the people that no one around me really could help. I didn't have that support structure, that network, or that expert advice to identify what was actually going on with me.
Now, critics did point out that Harry has publicly thanked his brother, Prince William, in the past for urging him to get therapy back in 2017. Elsewhere in the show, Harry again criticises the media. This time, he says the press was not interested in stories about British troops wounded in Afghanistan.
3 young British soldiers, all wrapped in plastic and their bodies in pieces. I saw what only people had talked about. That was the real trigger for I'm now seeing the real cost of war. Stepping foot off the plane, I was angry that this has happened to these guys. I was angry that the media weren't covering it.
Now, various journalists from a wide range of publications are saying that's not true. They've got clips and cuttings to prove it. The new series is supposed to put the spotlight back on Harry's military and charitable service. So tonight we're asking whether it's all a bit too little too late, and just potentially another act in what some call the seemingly endless Sussex circus. For more on this, joined by the journalist and broadcaster Nina Miskov and the commentator Lynn May and the former commander in Afghanistan, Colonel Richard Kemp. Colonel, as you're sitting there, thank you for making time for us this evening. Want to get your initial reactions to this and the way it will likely be received amongst the military community, especially those that went to Afghanistan.
Yeah, I mean, Prince Harry enjoyed enormous popularity in the armed forces, both for his determination to serve in Afghanistan on 2 occasions, and also for the help he gave to wounded soldiers, partly through Invictus Games. Unfortunately, he's blown most of that away now. And a combination of his turning on his own family, the royal family, which means such a lot to the armed forces, and his attempts to exploit his own service for his own publicity purposes. And we only need to think back about what he said about how he killed so many Taliban members a short while ago in his memoir, Spare. For me, the greatest problem with that memoir wasn't boasting about killing Taliban terrorists. Of course, that was his job, and he's quite right to do so. But he did say, and I think it was for the benefit of his woke friends in California, that he was conditioned by the army to treat them as subhuman, as less than human beings, which is simply not true, but plays well to the woke agenda. So I think those things have combined, have led him to be, I wouldn't say vilified exactly, but certainly treated with much greater suspicion and much less affection in the armed forces than he was before.